Hello everyone, my name is Ben. I'm part of KT Hub team. We're the Young Adults Ministry of Kensington Temple Church. And today I'm your host, and I'd like to invite you to join us on a journey of love and faith and fellowship, excitement and adventure. I want to share with you the heart behind everything we do. I'd like to introduce you to the big dream, the big idea, and invite you to partner with us in prayer that God will raise the next generation of young people who will live for His glory. It's been over a year and a half since we launched the Hub on 6 October 2018. And it began with a need in our church that Pastor Collins saw fit and saw the right time to address, and with a handful of people who love God and wanted to build a young adult community of people who feel loved, are able to grow in walk with God, and want to make an impact in the world we live in. Originally, it was known as the Hub Cafe. It was a place for young people to meet on a Sunday in between busy services, and it fostered some strong friendships and connections.
However, God began to stir in our hearts the need to grow deeper in Him as individuals, but also collectively. At the core of everything we do is the aim to raise disciples who will live lives that will honor and reflect the goodness of God. This way, our goals can be divided in 3 categories, and these categories shape all the activities we do, from the Sunday sessions to the social events and to the way we communicate and fellowship with one another.
Firstly, we want to help people experience God. This is the foundation of everything we do. It's our starting point. We see in scriptures when people encounter Jesus, their lives are never the same. Their hearts change, their desires are being renewed, their perspectives are being transformed. Experiencing that encounter with God is crucial. It's not something that can be bought or transferred. Your pastor's faith is not enough, neither are your grandma's prayers. It has to be personal. It is personal. It's between the individual and God.
Very early on, we noticed a big hunger for more of God and a stronger intimacy with Him. So we started what would later become a Hub signature evening, the Friday worship nights. Every 2 months or so, we take the opportunity to come away from our busy schedules, to strip away all the distractions and to focus our hearts and minds on God. It's a time of prayer, exhortation, word, and of course, worship.
What is the ultimate experience? Well, Paul tells us quite clearly, it's an encounter with God. It's sitting down and being sung over the new identity of who God tells us we are. It's a place of rest. It's a place of refreshing. It's a place of our spirit being built up. Let me finish with a prayer that Paul prays in chapter 3. I'm sure when he prays this, I can imagine him crying, because he sees the faces of those that he's writing to, and he knows this is a circular letter. It's not just going to one location. It's going to be passing through. And he sees by faith your face and my face, because he knows the impact that this has. He says, when I think of all of this, I fall to my knees and I pray to the Father, that you may have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high and how deep His love is. May you experience the love of Christ, though it's too great to be understood fully. Then you will be made complete with all the fullness of life and power that comes from God. He's praying for Jesus to make His home in our lives. And yes, He might need to do some changes. Paul wants us to go beyond the basic understanding of who God is as a distant figure. He wants us to have an experience with God. And after he prays such a deep and powerful prayer, he says, I'm praying that you understand the whole magnitude of God's love, even though it's too much to understand. You can't understand it. I'm praying you would. And after he finishes this prayer, the next verse says, now to God be the glory, who is able through His mighty power at work in us, to accomplish infinitely more than we can ask or think. Because that's the God that we serve. Ultimate experience? This is it.
Ultimately, we want people, regardless of their past, to experience God in a very tangible way. And out of these nights, we have had young adults reconnect with God, give their lives to Christ, and learn how to spend time with Him on a daily basis.
So firstly, we want to experience God, His love, His grace, His Father's heart. But this is just the beginning. Once that happens, we want to reach out to our friends for Christ. We believe the church is bigger than a building. It's bigger than the four walls in which we meet on a Sunday. It's bigger than a date, a time, a meeting. We are the church. It's who we are. And what better circumstances to emphasize that point than the ones that we live in right now. We want to have a heart for the lost, and this is why we look out for engaging ways to reach out to them, and we will do anything short of sin to reach out to them in a way that touches their lives with the love of Jesus.
We want to be the church that goes out into community. We don't want to wait for people to come to church. We want to go out to them. Our monthly social events are a form of evangelism to reach those who wouldn't necessarily come to a Sunday service or open a Bible. They allow us to extend the gospel to all just the way Jesus commanded us. And yeah, we can do that quite creatively through park days, movie nights, or arts evenings. For example, during our spoken word and poetry nights, we covered real-life issues that young adults can relate to, such as love, mental health, and life as a Christian.
Before I was saved, I was choosing some things that they weren't the best things to choose because they're not edifying the spirit. I was doing some research and I found out that 24% of people in the UK, when they drink, they overdrink. And that's the highest stat. That's what 1 in 4, basically, a quarter. But my real question was why? Why do we need to use other things to fill a void that God has already filled? Literally, I've been saved now for 2 years, and since I've let Him in, I'm not saying it's been easy, but boy, it's a different kind of feeling. Cool. See, I hear the echo, then I fall. Summer berries, dark fruits, I've had to sip on all my life's an empty bottle and ring, that's the call. It's from Jack and Daniel, FaceTime with the lads, but I still gotta play it cool for Uncle Ray and nephew. They say that time heals, but you miss your curfew. Another girl you pursue, need for speed, hot pursuit. In the party with a zoo, shoot your shot, top bins, it's more salad, golden boot, there's one. Hand on the Barbie mouth, full of Bacardi, life's like a twist of faith, she's on the ropes, Jeff Hardy, she's so sweet like this Serrano, so dark like Amaretto, see I'm struggling to let go, but my body is a temple, and I felt that in my temple. Lakes and liquor, I'm still drowning, man, it's mental. And demons driving through my mind, but it's a rental. See, the yak is not essential. I don't do pieces like this because people are judgmental. See, drinking alcohol don't make you whole. The spirit take control. Spirit take control, and please just penetrate your soul. I see that life's taking a toll, and you're still paying fines, but you still got that shine. So they assume that you're fine, but I see past that mask. Lion King, I can see all your scars, and I don't have to ask. All this. Lion King, Lion King, and I don't have to Lion King, and I see all your scars, and I don't have to ask. All it takes is a sip. Next thing is the tip, and now you got triplets. God's like scoring hat tricks, like James St. Patrick. You're just a ghost of yourself. Running from the truth is not good for your health, no cap. But Captain Morgan is sinking organs. The waves of life come crashing, then your thoughts become orphans. I said drinking alcohol don't make you whole. Spirit take control, spirit take control. Please just penetrate your soul. I say that's taking a toll. So who's in control? See, the funny thing is alcohol and drugs aren't the only thing we use to fill the void. Sometimes when we don't feel we're complete enough, we try and use another person to complete us when we should be completing ourselves. So cool, I got a question. See, is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust but God? Is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust? That LOVE, that real intimacy. He sees into me and all that I can be, but then I saw into her. Then my boy's into her. Yeah, we can up the tempo a bit. Sorry, let's start again. Yeah, cool. Yeah, jazzy, a bit more jazzy. You feel me? Okay, that LOVE, that real intimacy. He She's into me and all that I can be, but then I saw into her, my boys into her. It happened so fast, man, it was all but blur. He said, open your heart, the gateway to your head, and you thought you had the head start, then you started giving. He's always one step ahead. He's your head on Twitter. You're screaming on trash, but you still pick up letters. See your vision been distorted, your ambition's been aborted. A man was selling dreams, but Lord knows why you bought it, but you caught it. You're catching feelings. I thought we're catching flights on feelings, but you need healing. I see you bleeding, whoa. And is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust but God? And is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust? Like, love is patient and love is kind. Lust is blind, it just mesmerizes minds. Love is complete and lust is empty. It simply covers the scars like it's Fenty. And love is going through the pain and the grind. It's giving up your energy and giving up your time. Love is the way, the life and the truth. But lust has the emptiness with sorrows at the roots. I say, is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust but God? Is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust but God? Yeah. Is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust but God? Ask your neighbor. Is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Oh, one more time. Is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? Who you gonna trust but God? Is it love or lust? Is it love or lust, man? But I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, turn my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. Like, I let go and let God take control. Yeah, I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, it turned my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. I told this girl, oh, I love her, yeah. Let go, let God take control. See, yeah, come back with me, guys. Come back with me. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, turn my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, turn my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. I told this girl, man, I'm looking for some closure. I lacked the vision, couldn't see beyond her closure. And 1v1, man, I lacked that composure. I took a step back and then God came closer. She was a sweetheart, but not sweet for my heart. I'm aiming to be holy and that we set apart, but we didn't lean on God and there was no backbone. And every now and then we would bone spend all night just vibing on the phone. She was gonna be the bone to my bone, but deep in my bones I should have known. She was still a queen, just not for my throne. And I had to learn the hard way, all on my own. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, he turned my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. Sing, I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, he turned my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. It got frustrating, see me kept on fornicating, less conversating, and I got too complacent. Damn, she was amazing. But now I'm in a maze, I'm amazed, I'm doubting myself. Am I really saved? We were slipping into sin like we were ice skating, but it says he breathes life, yeah, I was suffocating. Now I'm struggling to breathe, man. I had to tell the spirit, man, you should take the lead. But she like that Fanta, I like that tango, man. That apple of my eye, she had me whipped like Django. I've gone strictly with the devil, but it takes two to tango. With the fruits of the flesh, I just had to let that man go. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, turn my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole. Sing, I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. I let go and let God take control. See, turn my life around. I was empty, now I'm whole.
So firstly, we want to experience God. Secondly, we want to reach our friends for Christ, and as a result of that, renew culture all around us. As a hub, we ask God to align our mindsets and our lives to His Word and not to the cultural norms of the day. We want to live lives where being compassionate is not considered being weak, where servanthood is leadership, and where we love our neighbor as ourselves.
And of course, one of the natural outcomes of this was moving away from an individualistic mindset, where it's all about me, my needs, my wants, my decisions, where our ego is on the throne, towards a mindset that requires us to look out for our brothers and sisters in Christ. We've been able to form friendships that are more than just superficial, where we take an interest in each other's lives, we spend time together on a regular basis, and we do life together. This can be extremely fun at times, especially when we travel together on holidays or we do weekends away, but also challenging when we push each other to live the life to the standard that God has called us to. We want to be a community that encourages the expression of the gifts God has blessed us with, both in the church context and outside it. We want to foster growth and use them for the glory of God. Every Sunday after the 2:30 Impact service, we run sessions that encourage everyone to have healthy discussions and provide insight on topics such as evangelism, relationships, prayer, and mental health. Our sessions are interactive, exciting, and sometimes even unconventional, with the aim to cover topics that the young adults are experiencing, while also providing some practical ways of living out this Christian walk. We want to empower the next generation to dream bigger, to continue to believe God and see the things the way He does, and to fully embrace the vision of London and the world for Christ. This is not something we can accomplish individually, but together as one body. We'll not shy away, we'll not be spectators, but will continually push further for the cause of Christ. And we'll have fun doing it.
Well, we hope you're blessed by getting to know a little bit about our role in expanding the kingdom of God. If you're a young adult, aged 18 to 30s, or maybe you have a son or a daughter, maybe a grandchild, or maybe a friend or a cousin who could benefit from being part of an amazing community of young adults who love Jesus, why don't you head over to our website, kt.org/hub, and get in touch. Alternatively, you also have our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram at the KT Hub. During this lockdown, all of our meetings take place online. So on Sundays at 4 p.m. we're live on Facebook and Instagram, and every Friday from 7 p.m. we have our Zoom meeting. Head over to our Instagram page to get all that information and more about everything that's coming up in the future. See you all there.